Good morning. Hi. Coming to you with another live for today. This one is for the people, the high achievers, who know in their heart that they are not living up to their potential and that they are not living the life that they desire to live, and they cannot figure out why. Because as someone who has grown up in proximity to a lot of high achievers, I've seen the pattern of how growing up in this sort of environment can actually be a hindrance to you becoming the kind of person you desire to be and living the kind of life that you desire to have. So, for context, I grew up in a highly academic environment, right? It was all about doing well at school and getting good grades and getting into the best classes and getting into the best schools. It's what I've come from, right? Both of my maternal grandparents were academics, they were physics professors. My mum was incredibly gifted academically. And so, also being a child of immigrants, that was what was naturally expected. High achievers in the realm of academics was just what I grew up in. And I always knew, I always had this inkling within me. I was like, I don't belong here. I mean, listen, I was genuinely amongst the best of the best. I went to the top all girls high school in my state. And mind you, I was very mediocre amongst my peers. So I was in proximity with these people, but I was not on that level. And I remember at the end of high school, there would be a list that comes out where it was a list of all of the people who topped the state in their subjects. And it was so normal, for people like me to go through the list and you'd be like, okay, yep, person who topped English, yep, that's my friend. Person who topped maths, yep, that's my friend. Yep, that's my classmate. Went tutoring with that person. I know that person through a friend. Yep, it was all familiar names. So it was all people who were at the top of the top. And that was who I was in proximity with. All of the most gifted and hardworking people academically. But despite that, I had this knowing within myself that the people around me did not possess the type of excellence that I was intrigued by. I was not interested in academic excellence for whatever reason, although it was what I had been told was what smart was. I just never believed that. It was not the type of excellence that resonated with me. And I knew that the type of excellence I was interested in was not something that anybody around me had. I was interested in people who had this essence of personal power. You could just feel it emanating from them. And who walk through the world with excellence of character. That was what I was interested in. but I didn't have the vocabulary for it at the time, and I didn't really know how to articulate it or what to make of it. So I did the thing, got through high school, went to uni, all the while thinking, oh my goodness, there has to be more to life than this. Like, seriously, I went through uni being like, this seriously cannot be it. Like, please, like, no. And I remember one day being at uni, and one of my good friends at the time actually was saying how she loved this career because she knew exactly what every single day of the rest of her life was going to look like. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, my stomach dropped. I was like, I'm in the wrong place. This cannot be all there is to life. But I also don't know what's out there, because these are the strict confines that I have grown up in my whole life. You either become a doctor, right? A specialist, or we had people, who were investment bankers, engineers, lawyers, all of that typical child of immigrants pathway. That was all I knew. And I knew in my soul that there was something more out there, but I had no idea what. So in my 4th year of my degree, I decided to quit. And everybody was like, what are you doing? I mean, honestly, I was like, what am I doing? But I decided to quit not because I couldn't have finished the degree and figured it out along the way. I very well was aware that that was an option. But I decided to quit because I knew that the longer I spent in proximity with people, good people, by the way, but people who had such a different orientation to life than I did, the greater the likelihood that the fire within would die. And that is when I decided, you know what? I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, but I need to go now. I need to go now, jump now, when the risk is honestly at the lowest that it will ever be in my life. And I promised myself, I said, even if it takes me 10 years to figure out where the heck I'm even meant to go, just to figure out the right direction, I'm going to do it, because there has to be more to life than this. That just sent me into a doozy. And it sounds really cool, telling this story back. But at the time, I was like, what on earth am I doing? And everybody around me was like, what on earth am I doing? But at the same time, I had that voice inside of me that was like, you know what? I don't need their belief. Something within me believes in me, even if they don't believe in me. Hi, I'm just seeing all of you who have joined. I love the way you communicate. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, hi, Sean. Hi. I love going live. This is so fun. Okay, back to the story. So yeah, I was like, what the heck am I doing? But that fire within and that promise that I made to myself is what got me through all of these years. Because there was that thread. Excellence of character. That's what I was interested in. And I knew that was a choice every single day in the big decisions I was making, like choosing to quit and forge whatever path blindly. And it's also in the small choices that you make every day, how you interact with people, how you amend situations where you kind of fucked up. But it's a long what I've learned is that it is a long, long, long ongoing journey. And so even after I quit and I was like, "Okay, we're gonna figure this shit out. I don't know. I don't know what I'm meant to do, where I'm meant to go." And I freaking went back. I went back to uni. And I was like, "You know what? Maybe I need to do something that's not like in the health realm." And I knew that I was always interested in human psychology. So I was like, "Okay, why don't we let's do something, let's study marketing." So I did that. Went back to uni, got to the end, finished the degree, did an internship, and let me tell you what happened. I was at this internship at this big company, and, it was supposedly very cool. Like, we were visiting, like, the Facebook headquarters, and I remember we went to Snapchat, and we went to all of, like, the really cool buildings and places and talked to people who were doing so-called incredible things. Oh my gosh, and I remember the free food, and the snacks at Facebook. Um, that was like, "Whoa, cool," right? But there was also a part of me that was like, "No, this is, like, so not the vibe. This is so not the vibe." But the thing that really hit home for me was when one day I was sitting with my team that I had been allocated to, and our team leader was this lady from the UK, and she was telling us how her parents had come to visit her for, I think it was 2 weeks, and they were in the last few days of their visit. And she said, "Yeah, last night they came and spoke to me, and they said, we've been here for almost 2 weeks, and we're about to head home. We've barely seen anything of you because you're either at work or when you're at home, you're working on your laptop until like 11 p.m. And, you barely even see your kid as well." In that moment, I had the exact same stomach drop as I did a few years earlier when my friend said what she said. And I was like, "No, this is not going to be my life. I already know the kind of parent that I want to be, and that is not it." I'm like, when little Timmy has a recorded performance at 11 a.m., whatever it is I do, right? This was literally me at 10 years old. When I was 10 years old waiting to get picked up from school, I would sit there and be like, "Yeah, whatever I do when I grow up, I just know that, like, whenever my kid has a performance, like, in mid-morning, I have got to be able to be there. So whatever it is I do, I've got to be able to be there." And I knew that going down this path of working for these corporations and for these offices was not going to be it, but I had no idea what was going to be it. And I think that is really the fork in the road that differentiates people who have excellence in character and those who don't. And the people who maybe they don't have it yet, but they have the intention of cultivating it, right? I'm still in process as well. But it's in moments like that where you have a decision to make. And the Achilles of the high achiever is that you are so used to being the best in the room and being measured by very black and white metrics that you have to aim for. And this kind of box of what smart and being a high achiever is. And all our lives, I say this as someone who went through that process, you have been given a path laid out for you. Okay, do this, right? Study this, right? Okay, this is the syllabus. Do this, and then you will get here. When you have had that path laid out for you for your whole life, and you know that you're gifted, and so long as you put in the grunt work, that you're going to be at the top and you're used to that. It's difficult to choose the path that your soul is asking you to go on, because when it's a calling, you are not going to be able to see what the path ahead of you is. That's the difference between a calling and between like a career. Because typically with a career, you're going to be able to see, okay, this is where I need to start. This is what I do if I want to work my way up. The path is already created for you. Whereas with a calling, it's not. If you're lucky, at any point in time, you might have the clarity to see like a couple bricks ahead of you on the brick road. And there's always that fog that you're walking through. But that's also the fun of it. So who do you choose to be? Sit with that for a moment. Hi, everyone who's joined. Sophia, Anna, Watono, Andy, Marest, hi. Who do you choose to be? And how do you choose to walk through the world? Is the question. When you do not have the path laid out clearly in front of you, are you going to stick by it because you made a promise to yourself that you will? Or are you going to let fear dominate your life? Fear or courage? Which do you live by more often? And I'm not saying that you have to choose courage every single time. That's not realistic. We're all human. I think Roger Federer said that he won 50% of his matches. 50%. And he's one of the greatest tennis players of all time. So I think if you choose the path of courage 50% of the time, to go on the path where you don't know where it leads, but your soul is calling you to go 50% of the time, you're doing pretty freaking good. And this is the philosophy that I live by, that I want to leave you with. Everything that you are asking for with your soul is already there. The success is already there. The love is already there. The relationships are already there. The beautiful life and family that you envision for yourself is already there. You don't need to worry about it being there or not being there. It's already there. The real question is, who are you being on the journey to getting there? Because the quality of who you are is going to directly correlate with the quality of what you receive. The success is already there. So long as you keep walking the path, the success is already there. But what is the success going to look like and feel like? That depends on who you're being. What do I mean by that? If you walk the path and you say, I need it to happen within this amount of time and it needs to look like this, otherwise, I'm not going to appear successful. And I've got to get it now, now, now. Oh my gosh, I've got to do it now so that I can prove that I'm worthy and that I'm an achiever in this. And you walk through life with that level of unclean urgency and desperation, you'll get the success. But it's going to feel exactly like that. You're going to be stressed. You're not going to be happy. You're probably going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to keep doing more so that I'm not going to lose this. And I've got to keep, you're not going to enjoy it. But you'll get the success. If you want a relationship and you say, I'm this age, so I better find someone to settle down with, right? Or even worse, you're like, oh, I guess I've been with this person for this many years, so, I guess it makes sense, even though it's like dead between you. The quality of who you are before you have the relationship is going to determine the quality of what the relationship you call into your life is. So if you're in a state of desperation and urgency and feeling like you are not complete or worthy without that relationship, then you are going to call in a relationship exactly of that caliber. That is going to be nowhere near the level and the depth of love that your soul truly desires to experience. You're going to call in someone who equally is like, oh, well, yeah, I guess I better do this because, it's time. Is that really the kind of love you want to call into your life? And I'm not saying that you should be ashamed of yourself for having natural human thoughts, right? The mind and the ego, I get it, they care. But the soul knows. The soul always knows. And I thank God. I freaking thank God for giving me the blessing of having my 20s. I really feel like my 20s has been the era of me, where it's been the era of investing in myself, investing in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, and really the era of building that strong internal infrastructure that has the capacity to hold everything that is going to come. And I had this thought the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, my 20s have been for me and my 30s are going to be for we. I'm like, so cheesy. But that's how I really feel. And you know what? Your story may look different. Maybe you built the external stuff first and you realize that the internal infrastructure is shaky and now you're going on an opposite path. It doesn't matter. The details don't matter. You're here because something resonates with you with this story and activates something within you, right? So allow your mind and your ego to have their worries, but always at the end of the day, reconnect with your soul. Every single time I'm like, Oh my gosh, well, let me have some fun before I'm locked down. Yeah, God yeets that person out of my life, like, immediately. And I'm like, "Okay, okay." Right, like, kind of annoying, but also, "You do your thing. You do your thing. Okay, I trust you. I trust you. And if you desire for me to be a nun in this era of my life, fine." Fine, because I know that what you have cooking up for me is going to be out of this world. And right now, I'm being shaped and prepared to be able to carry that. And I trust in that. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thinking of something my dear friend Estacia said to me yesterday as we were chatting. And it was like the best compliment ever, which I don't think she intended as one. But she said, you know, if we were in a war, right, which is real for many people around the world right now. But she was saying it as a hypothetical. If we were getting bombed and, you know, in a war, and we were running away and I tripped and like fell into a well or something. She said, aside from my partner, I fully trust that you would come back and get me out of that well. That's the level of trust I have in our friendship and in your character. And I was like, number one, because 100% I would, and I know she would do the same for me. But number two, that's the kind of person I want to walk through the world as. And that's the kind of people I want to surround myself with. Who do you want to be? Is the question. Who do you want to be? And allow that to shape your character and your decisions and how you walk through life. Instead of being so attached to this tiny little box of what excellence means that you have been taught growing up, being a high achiever, always being at the top. Don't allow that to constrict you and the path that you're meant to go on. Thank you, everyone who has joined. I'm seeing all these new names. Oh, hi, Ray. Long time no chat. Hi, everyone. Hi, Mira. Hi, Sahab. Hi, Amlin. All right. I think that's all I have for you today. I love these lives. I really do. And I think you can feel that I'm completely uprooting the way that I do things on here. And I think even me, like a year ago, would have been like, gosh, what are you doing? You know, you've done this and built this, all of this, doing things this certain way. And are you just going to like throw all of that away and do? Yes. Yes, I am. Because I choose to be the kind of person who trusts that every experience is refinement. So don't fear burning it all down. Know that if you can do it once, you can do it twice, you can do it 3 times. But the third time, you're probably not going to want to do it the way you did it the first time because you know better. You've learned certain lessons. You've gone through refinement. Alrighty, let's close it off there. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined today, and I'm going to catch you in the next live. Have an amazing day. Mwah.